Hey guys, how you doing? This is Jeremiah. I'm the technical support team lead here at Win911, and we are very excited to talk about a brand new voice notifier. This is going to be an alternative or a replacement for the TAPI modem that we currently sell.
And then my name is Erish Rojas. I am one of the channel sales managers for Win911, and I'll be presenting with Jeremiah as well. We're looking forward to talk to you guys about the new voice notifier and the TAPI alternative, which is Grandstream.
All right, so here's a breakdown of the agenda real quick. First of all, we're going to talk about what is this device. It's the Grandstream Unified Call Manager 6202. We'll get into the system requirements to use this new device, a little bit of a technical overview for it. We also have a nice voice comparison chart, which discusses kind of the similarities and differences in the current TAPI modem, the new Grandstream device, and voice over IP integrations in someone's network. We'll talk about the pricing, and I'll do a little configuration demo for you guys. We do have a review of the technical resources that are available right now. And we'll do a little bit of a coming soon kind of Easter egg here coming up for things that are coming down the line in the next couple of months. And we'll finish up with Q&A. All right, so here is the new TAPI alternative. This is the Grandstream UCM6202. You do have to be aware that you have to be on our latest version of Win911, the new software 319.9 or later, with the new voice service pack 1 that we've released. You do need the dedicated analog phone line. This device supports a maximum of 2, and this is not available on the old V7 legacy software. So we have the picture of the device here on the bottom right. There's the dimensions. You can see the ports on the back of this. You have your 2 FXO ports. Those are your analog lines. They connect in there. Next to that, going to the left, you have 2 FXS ports. You do not need to worry about those. They're not going to be used here. And then a LAN and WAN port. Also the dedicated power supply, a DC 12-volt input there. And it also has an SD card slot and a USB drive. That can be helpful for saving the configuration to a flash drive if you want to make a backup and copy the configuration over to another device if you want more than one. Then on the front of the device, you see it has an LCD display. That is actually going to be helpful in showing what IP address is on the machine. It also has some LED lights there, and they will light up green if your cables are getting a good connection when you plug them in the back. Okay, quick technical overview. So from Win911, we connect to this Grandstream device via the SIP protocol. That's the Session Initiation Protocol, which is used for VoIP. So we actually create a SIP trunk to it, and that's how we talk to the device. The analog phone lines in the back obviously go out to the publicly switched telephone network out in the world and eventually to your phone. And we have another little picture of the ports on the back there. You can see on the far right are the FXO ports. That's where your analog phone line goes, the LAN and WAN, and the other parts we already talked about. It does have a hard reset button right there, you can see. One of those little push pins that hard resets it back to the factory default.
I got a quick question for you, Jeremiah. If you have a hot backup system, how many of these devices do you need for Win911?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that's actually one of the perks of this device is since it is able to be put anywhere on the network, on the LAN cable there, you only need 1. So instead of buying 2 TAPI modems for a primary and a hot backup physically connected, put this anywhere in the network as long as you can get to it based on the IP address, then you'll be able to access it from as many Win911 installations as you want.
So one single device will cover your primary and your hot backup, right?
Absolutely, you got it.
Awesome.
Okay, here's that comparison chart here. So starting from the top, obviously it has to be the Win911 Interactive and Advanced. That's our latest version that we talked about previously, 3.19.9 and later. Cannot be supported on V7 Pro because there was no voice over IP configuration option back in the old legacy software. It does support virtual environments, and as some of you might know already, the USB modem that we were selling for the TAPI modem, have to be directly connected into the device. That is no longer. It's connected through the Ethernet port here anywhere on the network. It supports 2 analog phone lines, whereas the old TAPI modem just has the 1 output. Does not require an internet connection. Has a max simultaneous calls of 2 because it has the 2 analog phone line ports. It does have cadence detection. If you're not familiar with what that is, you can search it really quick. But basically, it's just detecting the different tones and things on the line. So when it's on hook, off hook, busy signals, all of that stuff. We do actually pre-configure all of these Grandstream devices here in-house before we send them out. So that is a huge plus for you to not have to worry about the configuration. And does support, as we just discussed, multiple connections to different Win911 installations. And it has a manufacturer warranty of 2 years.
So tell me, Jeremiah, why did Win911 came up with this alternative? Why just not continue with the TAPI modem?
Well, the TAPI modems have served us well, obviously. They're not the most reliable piece of hardware out there. However, the most important part is that TAPI, which is originally a Windows protocol, they actually broke the TAPI in their latest update of Windows 10, build 1903, and you can see that plastered all over our website and system requirements. When they came out with that update, it broke TAPI. It's unable to find the voice modem device and can't use it, so you have no voice over the calls anymore. Obviously, that's not our protocol, and there's nothing we can do to fix that until Windows gets on top of that. And so this is going to be super helpful for, right now while it's broken, and in the future if Windows decides to break things again with a Windows update, it will not be affected here with this Grandstream device because we do not rely on the TAPI protocol.
Excellent. So as an alternative, it's great, right? And just kind of summarizing this again, one of the biggest features is the maximum of 2 simultaneous calls versus 1, and obviously is good for Windows 10 version 1903. Excellent, that's great.
Absolutely.
So from here, I'll take it on. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the lease price. So as you all probably know, a majority of our customers have used TAPI modem for a long time, and the price of that is $350. Now the Grandstream UCM6202 is at a price of $500, but it comes pre-configured from Win911. So one of the things that we wanted to show you, and we'll show you later on, is this would be available also on the quote builder. In the meantime, the UCM6202 is currently located at our price list. So we'll show you that shortly.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to show you guys a demo here real quick. This is how easy it is to set this up once you buy the device from us, pre-configured by Win911. Very simple. All you have to do is you go to the IP address of the device. You can see here, this is what I've set it to. If you're just plugging this in for the first time in your network, you obviously might have to get your IT department involved to get a static IP set aside for it. But by default, when you plug it in the LAN port, either directly into a computer or somewhere on an open switch port, the default IP is going to be 192.168.2.1. And then the ports that it communicates over is 8089. So you would just go to https://192.168.2.1:8089. And that brings you to the login screen. Now, every device has built-in admin account, and the password is actually on the bottom of the device on a sticker. Everyone has a preset factory default password. So we'll log in here, and this is all you have to do once you buy it from us. You log in, click on System Settings on the left side, go down to Network Settings, and then change this right here to a static IP. It's going to be on DHCP by default. As you may or may not know, if it's on a DHCP that's dynamically created, and those allocations, those leases for those IPs can change frequently depending on the network. You don't want the IP to change, or else obviously you're going to lose the configuration in Win911 and the ability to connect to it. So all you do is click on static, give it an IP address, subnet mask, your default gateway, and your DNS server. This is just publicly Google's 8.8.8.8. You can use that or one inside your network. That's it. You click on save, and it'll say, do you want to restart the device now to apply the changes? And there you go. From this point on, it is completely ready to go as soon as you set up the Win911 workspace side of the house. So that's it. Oops. And I'm going to show you that really quick here, also how that's going to look from Win911. So I got my VM here, and you can see we're in the voice gateway. In the edit mode, we're clicking on the voice over IP setup here. Your user ID is going to be 1000. And again, this is all the stuff that we've pre-configured here from Win911. If you ever wanted to change this, you can definitely get in contact with us, but this is the default configuration we're loading on all of these. So your registration ID is also 1000. The password, it's going to be in our documentation that we set up. I have my own test system set up to a different password, but the documentation shows you what the password should be. You put in the IP address that you guys specified by changing it to static. In this case, I only have one bidirectional channel configured, but if you have two analog phone lines, you can choose two bidirectional, one dedicated outbound and one dedicated inbound, whatever you want to do. And that's it. The rest of these defaults should be left alone here. 5060 is a default port for SIP. The RTP ports are totally fine where they're at. And unless you are using multiple networks, one for voice and one for Wi-Fi or something like that, you don't have to specify the binding address of your machine. You can just click use all. That's it though. Once you have the ID and password put in there and the IP address to communicate, that's all you should be able to set up and be ready to go. This hopefully works because it's still rebooting in the background, but
and Jeremiah, where can you find these? Is this under voice and gateway?
Yep, yeah, so we just went over that. So you go to contact, you go to voice, and your gateway settings. And you can hear that. That's my phone ringing from the test call, so that went through successfully. And that's it. Then you're ready to call out and make your connections and everything else you need. So very, very simple when you buy it from us, pre-configured. All right. So the next part here, we talked about the resources. We're going to show you where that's at if you're not aware already. On our website, if you go to the support tab on the far right, you can see there's the knowledge base. And you can search for UCM6202, as you can see here. And we have the guide for it being purchased from us. And we did also, as a courtesy, include a configuration guide. If you did not buy the device from us, there's a lot more configuration that goes into it. But we figured some people are going to be able to grab that from other locations, and we provided a guide for you as well. One other note here, this is our installation checklist. I'll actually show you where this is at on our website directly here. If you just go to win911.com, you can hover over resources, go down to documentation, and right here on our main page, here's all the installed checklists. We have them for each SCADA version, and they go through a complete walkthrough of the system requirements, other checks and balances you're going to need to make. We're very proud to add that to our documentation. So please give that a read if you haven't already.
You know, talking about resources, you know, how are customers or system integrators able to send feedback. And is there anything new on our website?
Yeah, absolutely. So in addition to the documentation here being updated frequently and the knowledge base here, constantly we're adding new knowledge base articles. You can go to very top here, send feedback. This is a great feature. Everybody loves it so far. And this is basically if you have a product feature that you'd like to share, you can go ahead and add one here. You can also vote. You can share feedback.
So go ahead and click on that link where it says...
Yeah. So here you go. Here's the feature requests that we have in the pipeline, what's trending. These can be voted up. You can go through them and see which one you like the most. So obviously we have a couple popular ones. Local announcer. I'm sure a couple of you are giggling right now because you all want that back in the new software. So it looks like, the more votes, we're listening to your feedback, guys. This is a huge, powerful tool for you to tell us what you want, and we're going to take that and work really hard on it.
So let's say that they want to create a new feature. How do they do that? So add a new idea on the top left.
Yeah, add a new idea. You can give a summary sentence right here. Add plenty of details here. As you can see, why is it useful? Who would benefit from it? How should it work? You can attach files, screenshots, anything you want there. Type in your email address and share that idea with us. All right, guys. So it looks like majority here, the configuration tips and tricks, and just wanted to add another note here, reiterate the fact that that installation checklist is definitely going to be your best friend there so far for the tips and tricks. We will definitely take that feedback and keep working on things, but I'm going to open one of these up now since you guys all wanted to see the tips and tricks. So grab on any of these and just walk through a little bit of what this looks like. So first of all the supported versions. As we go through these, there is the introduction here, the required configuration, security and SQL requirements, how to do the subscriptions for alarms, how to do the configuration, and all of our notifiers. So as far as tips and tricks are concerned, you can see after we get through all the prerequisites, the system requirements and things like that, we get into some network diagrams of redundancy, where to install these on the network. And there's a couple different, layouts of options for installation. So definitely have a look at these. We go through and talk about the filters, how to do the subscription filters, alarm imports, things like that. And we get into watchdogs, heartbeats, how to configure those. And then we go into the notifier specifics. So for SMS, voice, mobile, TAPI, all these things that we want to have configured as options for redundancy. All these installation checklists are wonderful for that information.
Excellent. So let's move on to what's coming up next. I'm sure everybody would love to hear what's coming up soon. So W911 Mobile is coming up on September 30th. Several of you guys were participants of our beta test, and we appreciate all your input. We'll continue to have that available all the way until September 30th. So please continue to download the beta and send us feedback. We would love to hear from you guys. But this is how it looks. The new versus the old. You can see the new is a lot more fresh, a new kind of look. It's a lot cleaner. And let's move on to the next slide. So both of them are for Apple and Android, and will be available with a multi-site app. So now you're going to be able to take a look at multiple sites in a single mobile app. Before it was one W911 to one app. So now you're going to be able to see multi-site. Let's take a look at these. One of the biggest features that we have on these new mobile app coming up on September 30th is that we have events, chat, and team. So now in events, you're going to be able to see a history of what's happening in that specific alarm. So you can see when the alarm came out at 3:21 p.m. from looking at the bottom left of the screen. And then the next time, it's at 3:21 p.m. was immediately acknowledged. So somebody saw it. In this case, the actor was Dan, and he saw this alarm via the mobile app. Next, we have chat. So this is one of the newest and what we think one of the coolest features that we have in this mobile app, because you're going to be able to chat and interact about that specific alarm within our mobile app. So when that alarm happens, you will be able to interact with the group. Which group? So all the way on the right-hand side of the screen, you have the team. So you have Adam, Dan, and Charles, right? So Dan, Adam, and Charles. So you see that Adam and Dan are currently talking via the chat in the middle section. So it's going to be very helpful for several of you guys to be able to collaborate on an alarm immediately.
Yeah, and another thing, just to make note here real quick, you see the icons next to Dan, Adam, and Charles over there. The two that have the eye that is not blocked out, that means that they have seen the alarm. And Charles with that slash through the eye, he has not seen it. So I think we have another breakdown here. Here we go. So this is contact has seen the alarm, has not seen the alarm, or if they're in do not disturb mode. So that's pretty helpful.
So Jeremiah, what is do not disturb mode? How's that work?
So basically, it's kind of the same thing as your cell phone does automatically for other notifications. If you're in a meeting or you're off work, whatever the case may be, you don't need to worry about this. Put yourself in do not disturb mode, and you're not going to get bothered with those push notifications. Once you take yourself out of do not disturb, it will update, and you'll go right back to active and see anything new that comes in.
Excellent, thanks.
Yep. All right, so here is kind of the breakdown. One of the biggest issues that we've had with the old mobile app is the security risk of opening up that port on the firewall. Some people just didn't want to use it because they didn't want to expose that inbound port, 59112. So everybody will be happy to know that that is completely going away. You do not have to open up any holes in your firewall whatsoever. All of this authentication and token access is handled out on the cloud through the Azure Microsoft cloud-based system. So you can kind of see the path here. So you sign in from the site, from your Win911 software, wherever that server is located, goes out to the internet, logs into Azure, you get a token. That goes to the mobile app structure inside the Azure platform in the cloud, and sends that token also to your Win911 app or mobile app on the phone, who also does the double check and re-authenticates to the Azure Active Directory account. And all that's done in the cloud, and you're able to securely talk to each other, get new notifications, chat features, everything else is happening with authentication in the cloud. So no longer poking that hole in the firewall, and no more security risks with that.
So truly, this was a priority for Win911, was security.
Absolutely, absolutely, yep.
And now, to be able to communicate between Site A and your mobile device, the two tokens have to be the same, right? They have to authenticate each other.
That's right. And everything is done in the cloud, so there's nothing that's going to be process intensive or any issues connectivity wise. As long as the machine that's running the new mobile software inside your building, as long as that has internet access, it's going to be able to go out to the cloud and authenticate and send it to the mobile app.
All right.
And then one last new thing here that I figured we'd throw in is by popular demand, we are coming out with the new light executable here for contact schedule utility. So basically what this is instead of giving everybody the login credentials to go into the workspace and to move people around in your tactics, change the order, add people, delete people, all those settings, this is going to be a separate executable you can run that just pops in this screen that you can see right here for your tactics and your scheduling, and you can make the changes that you want without having access to the rest of the workspace and all the other features inside there.
All right. So this specific contact schedule utility, it really is to put inside of an HMI, and for the, let's say, people that are using our product, to be able to change the schedules, right? Or maybe just change the contact order of a call out list, right? So perhaps the operators in line 1 might want to change their schedule, and operators in line 2, they want to change the people that they're going to be receiving that alarm.
Absolutely, yep. Instead of somebody having to log in as the administrator into the workspace and do all that admin work, you know, operator 1, Bob, can go ahead and take himself out of the tactic when he is off of the call schedule, or whatever that use case for the customer looks like. They can also add new people, rearrange people, change, as you can see here, the repeats, the delay before time, any retries for connections, and their schedules.
I don't think they will be able to completely add a new person, but they can definitely choose from the ones that they have already had. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. As long as they're created in the original list of contacts, they can change who those people are here in the active tactic.
Awesome.
Perfect.